Alright everyone, it's time to talk about this Twitter unmasking case. What happened is there was a sort of an anonymously run account satirizing Donald Trump, and the US government wanted Twitter to hand over the personal details of the person that was actually running it. And the government backed down because Twitter said, no, nothing specifically gives the government the right to unmask the identity of this user. Now, the government has all these like spying tools anyway. If they really want to know who's running it, they can always find out who's running it fairly simply. That being said, it's actually good. It's a good thing that Twitter decided not to cooperate with this. If you're going to make a precedent for the U.S. government determining that an innocuous satire account that's basically just mocking the U.S. government and Trump in specific. If a company determines that that claim is valid, decides to start disclosing user info, what's to prevent other countries potentially from creating a deluge of additional requests along similar lines? And where do you draw the line then? Would it have to be like one step away from slander and defamation, or would it be enough for some foreign state to say, oh, well, this Twitter account, which is anonymously run, is saying unkind things about migrants in Europe, or it's saying unkind things about Islam or something like that, or it's defamed some long-dead hero from some culture that has blasphemy laws, something like that. It would set a fairly dangerous precedent. Now, this is Twitter. When Twitter shuts down a government request to reveal personal info, because Twitter is pro-censorship generally. They're anti-anonymity, generally speaking. Twitter is not a particularly kind site to the right to privacy or the First Amendment. They're of the big sort of social media and similar tech firms. They're one of the worst when it comes to these things. Google is a shining bastion of the First Amendment compared to Twitter. Even Facebook is arguably at this point less manipulated, and that's after they add their fake news filters and their crap checking stuff. When Twitter tells the government to fuck itself for trying to unmask an account, you know that the government has overstepped a little bit. And no court, seriously, I think, would have sided with the government, which explains why they backed off. The idea was the government wanted to simply pressure Twitter into giving up the personal info of this user. For what reason, I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about satirical material, who fucking cares? It's satire. This is the civilized, the Western world. It doesn't matter whether it's aimed at Trump or anyone else. Like, you can imagine. Let's say someone sets up some sort of anonymous handle that just satirizes Obama or satirizes Clinton or something, or satirizes the left in general. Are we going to set a legal precedent, potentially, which is what Twitter could have done by choosing to give up the personal info there? Would a precedent, would people who like Trump, that would be my question to them. You like Trump, you don't want to see him satirized, maybe rankles you a little bit, you think it's unfair, oh, this far leftist or something. How would you like it if the shoe was on the other foot and Twitter was disclosing the personal info of somebody who was, ostensibly on the right, who was satirizing, again, Clinton or somebody like that, or whoever the next Democratic candidate happens to be? We've got to safeguard the web as much as possible for everybody, for all affiliations of people. There should be no censorship. There should be no mass surveillance on the web. It's not going to keep anyone safer, costs a lot, breaches multiple constitutional amendments in the U.S. sense. I would think the rest of the civilized world would be on board with that basic concept that people should be able to have their thoughts heard in a non-violent manner. It's like you look at Europe, you wonder, oh, well, why are these violent skinhead groups rising up? Well, it's because you haven't given them any other avenue to express themselves. You don't let them publish a blog, you don't let them put out a video without constant harassment. No shit, they're going to feel suppressed, because they are suppressed. Therefore, maybe they turn to street violence or something. The Angela Merkels of Europe are doing the worst possible thing when it comes to preventing that from happening. Some of them might be ignorant, they just don't realize this because they're too stupid to realize it. Others, they know full well what they're doing. They're hoping they can crack some skulls, I guess, for political gain. But really, that's what you get. If you want to go to a part of the world where private companies are repeatedly forced to disclose information on people who are conducting satire on Twitter or wherever, you go to the Middle East or something, you go to some theocracy, some tin horn dictatorship. It shouldn't be happening in the U.S. For our government of all entities to request that an individual's right to privacy be fundamentally denied to them when they haven't committed a crime, they haven't done anything particularly edgy other than satirize a government official, regardless of what that official is. Yeah, that's wrong. It shouldn't be happening. And props to Twitter. Kudos to them for blocking the attempt, because the government probably never seriously intended to bring it to court, where they would almost certainly lose and or set the stage for a massive constitutional struggle that I don't think there's the willpower in the government at the point to have. So it's good that this happened, regardless of who's being satirized. Doesn't matter. It can be some government official you like, someone you don't like. Again, if you believe that the person is just or is doing a fairly good job, well, good ideas in a free market of ideas are supposedly, they rise to the top outside of the realm of propaganda. Well, then you have nothing to worry about if you don't really like this kind of joke. Just don't pay any attention to it. If you're offended, just go somewhere else. It's like on the radio. We shouldn't be censoring that either. If you're offended, just turn the radio off, switch to a different channel or something like that. People need to stop being pussies, honestly. That's about all. Peace out.